Hello, welcome back to another episode of Initial Impressions. My name is Kaylee Pommering and I'll be your host today. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you feel more at peace, helping you to understand your emotions, set better boundaries in your life so you feel like you have more emotional control over the experience of your life. Let me put my phone on D&D, just realized that was not happening right now. I really want this podcast to be a little bit more relaxed than some of my other ones. I want to talk about friendship. I think that picking good friends is an undervalued skill. And I've started to notice some things recently within the last year about friendships, about other people's tendencies. And a lot of these can transfer over into both friendships and relationships that I want to talk about today. But I've noticed a trend where people pick friends that don't have the same values as them, that don't have the same boundaries as them, or the same trajectories, the same goals. And while I believe there is friendships that serve different purposes and not every friend is going to, match up to you in every single way, that would be a bad thing. If that were the case, it's good to have people around you that you want to become, people that you want to emulate. But I think a lot of us see some of those external pictures and we think, okay, I want what she has, but we don't consider I want to feel how she feels. And that's an important distinction, because if you have somebody in your life that you're putting up on a pedestal that has achieved some of the goals that you want to achieve, but they're miserable, or they don't respect others, or they don't have the same values that you have, or they would do things in a way that you maybe even think is wrong or would say is wrong. I've found myself oftentimes confused at the people that some of the people I've met have chose to invest themselves into when I don't feel like those people are really in alignment. And I've heard many of my friends complain about what they've had to deal with from some of their other friendships, where they're, dealing with a repetitive betrayal or repetitive condescension or repetitively complaining about a situation that they don't do anything to change. And I think that part of our problem is that many of us are people pleasers. So we think that it's better if everybody is comfortable with us. We think that it's better if there is intention that everyone likes us. We think that's going to get us closer to where we want to be. Or maybe if I befriend her, I can have some of the status she has earned, which maybe she has earned said status in a way that doesn't align with your beliefs or values. And now you're affiliating yourself with somebody who is really different than you and how you want to be portrayed or how you want to carry yourself. So there's a lot of things that I don't think people are necessarily considering, or maybe they're just not respecting themselves enough to think that they have a right to consider. I notice a lot of my friends will say, well, I don't know what to do because I don't want to be mean, or I don't want to be confrontational, or, I don't want to not be their friend. Why? We're not all supposed to be friends. I'm not saying that means that people are supposed to be your enemies, but you know what happens when you keep people around you that aren't supposed to be around you? You begin to resent them, and then it makes an enemy out of both of you, when in reality, you guys could have just been civil acquaintances. You're going to become like the people you spend the most time around. So if they don't have characteristics that you want to embody, be prepared to embody the characteristics that you don't like in them, because that is what's coming. You have to be careful the energy that you surround yourself with and the friends that you pick, because if you pick friends that repetitively victimize themselves, tell you, oh, you don't do this enough or you don't do that enough, and they just constantly need you to be different for them to feel good, by being a people pleaser and by constantly changing and martyring yourself essentially to make them feel more comfortable or for them to enjoy you more, you're teaching them that the world will change to make them happier, and that's not the truth. You make the world a happier place by changing the way you experience it in your mind. When I don't hear from my friends, I think they must have things going on. They must be busy. They must have other things on their mind. We will catch up when I see them. And when I see them, that will be just right on time. And when you have friends who tell you, oh, you don't see me enough, like you're not doing this with me enough, or you're not, yada, 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 just complaining. It is not your job to become the person that they need so that way they can experience life easier. That's not the purpose of a friendship. The purpose of a friendship is to have somebody around you that helps to inspire you to growth in different areas of your life and helps you to enjoy your life in a healthier way. If your friends don't promote healthier ways of living, if they don't promote healthier ways of thinking, it doesn't mean they have to do it perfectly. Every single person has their own characteristic flaws. I am not a perfect person. There are things that I do that are not ideal, There are things that I do that I wish that I did better, that I'm actively learning to do better, but that is the distinction. Are you choosing friends who are actively deciding to be better, or are you choosing friends who actively decide to regurgitate, actively decide to stay the same, to face the same problems countless times and never learn from them? You are self-sabotaging by choosing friends who do not respect themselves or you. And if you don't respect your time and the people that you're investing into, you are affiliating yourself with things that are going to lead to your destruction instead of your growth. They say that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. What does that make you? How do you feel about that? When I think about the 5 people that I talk to and hang out with the most, in each of them I can see characteristics that I want to hold, characteristics that they inspire me to believe are possible for me. And it is so fulfilling to feel that way. So I know this is easier said than done, right? You're like, okay, well, how do I meet these gems of growth and peace and, want to become better people? Where do I meet these humans, right? I think that a lot of people think that it's better to have a lot of friends. They think that quantity is better than quality. They think the more people that like them, the better for them. And that's not true. Because when you are just palatable for everyone, this is like a really weird analogy, but you're like tasty to no one. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are just good enough for everybody, like you're not special. Nobody's gonna like you that much when everybody just likes you a little. Wouldn't you rather have people who like really value you and see you for who you are? Wouldn't you rather you have like friends that are like adoring you because you have these traits and they want to be like you in these ways and you want to be like them in those ways, and you just collaborate with each other and you help each other become better humans, you help each other, reach your goals? Well, how do you show the universe that that's the kind of connections that you want? By prioritizing them, by not settling for anything less than them. I went through a period of borderline isolation, okay? I started cutting off a lot of my friends. And it wasn't that anything in particular was wrong with them, but I was noticing that the things that we did together were not productive for me. They were things that I was trying to leave behind and old ways of being. And I think that, they probably even wanted to be better too, but none of us really knew how. And I felt like I needed to just be alone. I needed to be alone, and I needed to figure out how to cure myself, how to find peace, how to figure out what I was passionate about and live for that exclusively, how to feel really comfortable getting outside of my comfort zone. And I felt like I wasn't really going to be able to do that with the friends that I had in that moment. And so I chose to really isolate myself from everybody. And I pretty much just worked, and I read a lot, and I thought a lot about the kind of friends that I wanted to have, the people that I wanted to meet, that I wanted to have in my circle, that I wanted to be like. And I just didn't settle for anything less than that. And I would say it was almost 2 years of having only a small, very, very small handful of friends. It was a while. It was a while after college that I just had a very small handful of friends. And I spent a lot of time alone in solitude. I spent a lot of time understanding myself, understanding what my values were, because that's the other thing. How are you going to pick friends according to your values if you don't know what your values are? So it's really important to look within and understand yourself, research yourself, figure out what matters to me, what things do I think are wrong, Like, not all of us have religious morals, but that doesn't mean that you should not have morals. There can be things that you think are wrong or right for you. I'm not saying that you have to, make everybody else a subject to that scrutiny, but you should know what your values are and what boundaries you have in your relationships, what you're okay with. Are you okay with girlfriends that date the same guys as you? If you're not, then stop hanging out with the girl who always sleeps with your exes. I'm just saying, you have to create boundaries. If you don't remove these people out of your life, then you enable them to keep putting you in the position of being a victim. But are you tired of being a victim yet? Are you tired of having friends who don't treat you right? Then you need to be okay with being alone. You need to respect yourself enough to be alone, because there are no room for quality friends when you're filling all of their spots with friends who do not deserve to be there, with friends who aren't aligned with you, with friends who don't share the same values that you share. It doesn't mean that you even have to villainize other people, but you just distance yourself from them. And in solitude, you begin to understand what really matters to you, what you would love in a friendship. And then it becomes less about, okay, I just don't want bad friends, to I want great friends. I want friends who want more. I want friends who want to succeed. I want friends who want to challenge every single part of themselves to be the best that they can be, to constantly be looking for growth, to constantly be seeking improvement and evolution, and don't feel the need to always be right or certain about everything or have open minds. Those are the things that matter to me. Those are the values that I have. Friends that have confidence and peace. And when they don't feel at peace, they want to understand why. And they want to use that knowledge that they gather from their negative emotions to strengthen their character and their resolve for the future. These are characteristics of, oh my God, all my best friends have these characteristics. I have some of the most amazing friends, but they did not come into my life until I kicked everybody else off the roster that did not deserve to be there. There was no room for them. I had to make room for them. I had to leave these spots open until they came. And I had to fill all of the things that I desired in a friend for myself. I had to be there for myself. I had to, take care of myself, understand myself. And a lot of these things really can transfer over to a relationship with a man. How can you expect a man to, be on the same level as you and you don't even know what level you're on? You have to understand yourself. You have to understand your values if you want to be happy. Otherwise, you're going to be confused, always walking into situations feeling blind, not understanding what is happening, not understanding why you keep ending up in the same positions, because you need to get specific on what it is that you want and what it is that you're willing to tolerate. When you set up these boundaries for yourself and you honor them, it makes it easier. When these things reveal themselves in the beginning, when the red flags first appear, I don't have enemies. I just have people that I talk to less and people that I talk to more. I really don't try to spend too much energy on the people that I don't like. Obviously things happen that make you emotional. Sometimes things happen and I'm like, I did not love the way this person did me. And sometimes with my close friends, that is something that I need to debrief. And I try to use those experiences to understand, okay, what was it that I did not like about the way this transpired? What does this show me about what I value in a friendship and that I need to be there? And that if it's not there, I'm just not going to feel seen or heard or appreciated in this friendship. And if that's the case, then I need to prioritize that. I need to not continue to put myself in the line of fire. So a lot of us have a tendency to do that, continuously put ourselves in the line of fire. If that person continues to shoot that way, they're not going to just stop. They're not. You have to pick people for who they are and embrace who they are. Nobody needs to change for you. You need to change who you put in front of you, who you keep putting in front of you. You deserve good friends. You deserve friends that are aligned with you. There are so many people in this world. There's no reason why we can't all have people that we're a match to in our lives. Whatever that standard looks like for you. Maybe, you want friends that have different characteristics than me. So what? That's not bad. That's not good. That's not anything. It's just, do you recognize it and do you honor it? Do you set up the boundaries to protect it? Are you going to be pickier? You deserve to be pickier. What's so bad about being alone? I think that's really what it comes down to. A lot of us, they say, I'm a people pleaser. Well, why are you a people pleaser? Are you scared to be alone? Are you scared to face who you are? Do you please everybody else so that way nobody looks more than surface deep at you? I realized that there was a time period of my life that I was way too worried about controlling the way that other people perceived me. I wasn't thinking about who I was. I wasn't thinking about who they thought I was. I was thinking about who I thought they thought I was. And I was trying to control that. Like doing things so people, recognize that I have this value. That's just too much. Now I just live. If you don't see the values that I have and you don't understand me, that is your prerogative. That's your story. That's your observation. But if you continue to put yourself around people that make you feel less than, make you feel small, take advantage of you, or condescending to you, when will you decide that you're worth more? Because you are not going to get better friends until you decide that you are. There's no room. Where are they going to sit? Like, picture you're sitting at a table and there's only 6 chairs and you filled the other 5 chairs up with girls who don't deserve to be there. There's girls walking around seeing you thinking, oh, she's so nice, I want to talk to her. And then they go to come up to you and there's no seats at your table. In fact, some of the girls that you're with might be scaring them away. And, the big one that I've been noticing is like, people will not condone other people's behaviors, but they will still put them up on a pedestal in social media, in front of others. And I just find that really fascinating, because if you don't like the way that they move, more often than not, it's weird to put them on a pedestal so you can benefit from their status. It's weird. I'd rather earn the status myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need their status. If you're gonna ever really have your own status and like really have any push or pull, it's gonna be because you earned it. You can only ride on the back of somebody else's wave for so long. And honestly, if you don't even agree with the way that they're living, are you gonna want the kind of fans that they have? That they're not going to be very aligned to you either. Are you going to want the kind of followers they have? They're not going to be a match to you. They're not going to appreciate you. And then you're going to feel unappreciated and unseen, and you're going to blame all these people for not making you feel better. But it's like, why were you looking for validation from the kind of people that you don't even condone their behavior? That was honestly something I had to realize. Like, I had some friends that I, was trying to build a genuine relationship with, and I came to the realization that they don't prioritize that. They prioritize friends that can get them in certain rooms with certain people. And while I do understand that and I do appreciate my well-connected friends, it's got to be more than just that, because when they're getting me into these rooms and I get in by condoning a behavior that I don't approve of, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting across the table with these networked people and they value her for reasons I wouldn't value her, what do we have in common? Nothing. How will that benefit me? It doesn't. It makes you uncomfortable. It's been a lot of things about friendship that I've been uncovering over the last year. And I know that I'm not a perfect friend. I'm sure I have my things. I think sometimes when I get upset or I'm in the thick of it going through something, I can be a little obsessive. I have a tendency to kind of get stuck in my head. And of course I want to be better about that in my friendships. And I am, constantly seeking to improve those things. I have a little bit of a fixation issue sometimes. I like to wrestle my problems to the ground, even though I know for damn sure that does not make them better. But I've chosen friends who help to remind me that kind of problem solving doesn't work. And they kind of help to combat these character defects in myself that I want to work on improving. And so your friends, they can be assets for growth, but I allow them to be. And that's the difference. Your friends that they have these character defects, are they open-minded? Are they welcoming growth? Are they welcoming constructive criticism? If they're not, then they're not growth-oriented people. Do you really want to be around stagnant humans? We're not meant to be stagnant. We go forward or backwards. Which way are you going to go, and are you going to let your 5 friends take you? You can't have friends that you value until you understand your values. You can't really appreciate these people until you understand what's important to you and what characteristics they possess that are so important to you. It lets you know what relationships you need to protect. There is something about those people in your life that are just genuine and kind and transparent. And they might have different characteristics. Some might be shy and others might be extroverted. And, some of them might love shopping and others might want to spend the day cuddled up in bed. They all have different little traits here and there, and those things really aren't the end of the world. But there are values that we each have and possess, and there are ones that oppose, and there are ones that go with. And why should we continue to pick ones that make us feel less than who we're meant to be, who inspire the wrong characteristics out of us, who don't hold us accountable, who don't want more for themselves and more for you? You deserve friends that help you to experience enlightenment and evolution. So I was just kind of chatting today, honestly, chatting about friendships, chatting about the different effects that they have on us, because man, I've had a ride with friendships the past year, and honestly, my circle now is way bigger than it has ever been in my entire life, and so many of them are so amazing. But I have had a few that have helped me learn and have helped to sharpen my values, and I see these situations that happen, and it helps to strengthen my resolve. Like, I don't want friends that just give me status. I'd rather not have their status. I'd rather have friends that share my values. Your friends all serve different purposes, and I still believe that that's true, but I'll never have a purpose for a friendship that's so vain that the only benefit is their status. If that's all we have in common, that is not the kind of person that I want to be. And I see a lot of other women do it, and I'm like, you don't like that girl at all, but you pretend like you do, so you can benefit from the status she's achieved, living in a way that you don't agree with. I cannot do it. I cannot do it, y'all. So it's important to show yourself in the universe what matters to you, to respect yourself enough to appreciate your solitude, your peace, your self-earned status. Let yourself be known for being who the fuck you are. Be you. People will like you. You know what people like? Not this one cookie cutter version of a girl, not this one cookie cutter version of a guy. People like real. People, real recognizes real, okay? And the people who are a match to you, they will see you and they will appreciate you and they will hear you and they will want to be friends with you and they will feel that you are real, that you are genuine. And you won't need, to have all the best outfits or go out every single night or hang out with only the wealthy people or only the people that have high status. You don't need to do all that bullshit if you can just be cool on your own. And if you end up around high fashion people and people that make a lot of money, but they also share your values, like win-win. But if they don't share your values, stop trying to chase their shadow. Other people can tell that's what you're doing. And worst of all, you can tell that's what you're doing. And it doesn't feel good to do that. It does not. I thought there were certain people that I should continue to pursue a relationship with because I thought that we should be friends, because I thought, I don't think I realized it on such a superficial level, I want their status, I'm going to be their friend. But sometimes you move in the same circles as other people and you try to, the people pleaser in you wants to be cool with everybody, wants to be friends with everybody. It is not worth it. And it doesn't feel good. It's not rewarding. None of that feels authentic. And I care more about the way that I feel. I care more about my integrity. I care more about having people that share my values in my circle than I do about followers or status or connections, because all those things will happen organically with people who love and appreciate me for exactly who I am. And I want everyone else to feel that way. I want all of you girls who think that you need to be friends with shallow people who don't care about you just so you can get likes and views, that you deserve better than that. You deserve way better than that. You deserve more from that for yourself. You deserve to feel comfortable in your own skin, to feel like you're living the right way, to feel like you're living in a way that's aligned with what really matters to you. You deserve to feel like that. So stop settling for superficial ass shit that can only get you this far in the end anyways. You're gonna peak on the wrong things. Be you, live for you, and pick friends that share your values, period. Okay, all right, it's been real, y'all. I'm done lecturing on friendships. Just so you know, every time I go in like this, it's at myself too, you know? I want to quit having friends that don't share my values. And I feel like I do, honestly, a really good job about that. I get a lot of compliments on my friends, and I love bringing them all together. I love my freaking girls, man. I am so blessed to have the most amazing friends. And when they meet each other and they love each other, and I'm just like, I just love all of you so much. You're all so real. You're all so amazing. You all know who you freaking are. I love you guys. And that happened because I was willing to have a period of solitude, because I had standards for friends and I have not lowered them. And it's really worth it in the end to do that. Show yourself that you love yourself enough to only allow people in your circle that help you grow, that help you become the best version of yourself. So if you felt this episode, if this was real for you, if there's somebody you think that needs to hear this, somebody that you think deserves more than just a superficial relationship, somebody that you think that if they were just them, people would love them all the more, then send this to them. I want to see all of us women just like living in our truest, most authentic selves with relationships that empower and enlighten us. And if you are about that, then we are on the same page, and I want you to be a part of my community. I want you to subscribe, follow along with me, follow me on Instagram. My Instagram's Kaylee, Kayli_Jane_Pommering, Pommering. It's literally my full name. I made it when I was 13. Whatever, don't ask. At least it's my actual name, so it won't be too hard to find me. And I'd love to connect with you. So if you liked this episode, please leave a review, like, whatever you may do. And I appreciate you as always for listening. And I hope that you are leaving more at peace than you came.